If you hate the Baltimore Ravens, spam FBAL in the comment section. We usually reserve this for the Pittsburgh Squealers, but this week we make an exception for the Ravens. So start the video off by getting into the comments right now and spamming FBAL. Hell, let's see who can comment it the most. What's going on, Browns fans? Welcome into the Cleveland Browns Report by Chat Sports. Matthew Peterson here on a live mailbag edition of the show. We do these every single Thursday during our live show. So if you got a question and you want to be on the next mailbag, just tune in every single Thursday at 4 o'clock Eastern. So this first question comes in from a frequent commenter here at the channel, Gregory H. What do you think about the Browns dropping Deoin Jones' contract for 2023 after they signed him for it? And why do you believe they both agreed to drop it? Okay, so I got a little tripped up by your word in there. So yes, the Browns and Deoin Jones agreed to terminate 2023 from his contract, making this the last year on his deal. What do I make of it? I like the move on the Browns' part, right? If Deoin Jones' midseason trade doesn't work out, you're not on the hook for any money. If it does work out, then yeah, you might, bite yourself in the tail and wish you had that next year on the books already because you went to re-sign him in free agency. Why did Deoin Jones agree to do this? One, that might have been a condition for the trade. A lot of this stuff happens between the general manager and the agent of, hey, we want to trade for you, but not at that price. Can you restructure your contract? So that might have been something that happened behind the scenes. Paul Brooks, what's up, dude? You're up next here on the show. Paul Brooks, a F-Pit master. How many rushing yards will Nick Chubb have? I'm going to go, he had, 58 in Week 6 against the Patriots, 54, something like that. I'll go against the Ravens. I don't know if I'm going to go all the way to like 120. Give me like 101. Just gets barely across. Nick Chubb, 101 carries on 101 yards on 25 carries, and tossing a receiving touchdown. Everyone thinks rushing? No, Zig-Win-Zag. Brown Tiger, Super Chat MVP. I'm a huge Watson fan, but tired of hearing how this team might be how this team might be night and day different with him. Excuse me. I say how. He doesn't fix our defense. I agree with that. Deshaun Watson does not play defense, except for when he's with the Texans and he's in a red jersey running scout team safety. So, how does he fix this team? Well, the Browns going into last week before the clunker against the Patriots, they were averaging 26 points per game. Deshaun Watson averages, maybe makes his offense worth 31 points per game. I don't know if he's a full touchdown better. Let's go 31 points per game. At 31 points, gets you a win over the Chargers at 30, right? I think Deshaun Watson is able to blemish and cover up some of the deficiencies this team has from time to time, and is able to eke out ugly wins, which the Browns weren't able to do this year, right? They couldn't eke out a win against the Chargers late. They couldn't eke out a win against the Falcons late. What happened? A red zone interception from Brissett and a interception from Jacoby Brissett on the last drive against the Falcons. With Watson, one of those two becomes a win. I really do believe that. So, can he play defense? No. He can't help that the Patriots put up 38 with Bailey freaking Zappi, and I don't even know if they win that game with Deshaun Watson. But they are going to win some of those closer games with him over Jacoby Brissett. This question coming in from Goodness1. Will the Browns be buyers or sellers at the NFL trade deadline? Good question. I'm going to go with a cop-out and say somewhere in the middle. I don't think they're going to be sellers. I don't really see any big pieces they could move on from, right? I don't think it's a wise idea to trade someone like Ronnie Harrison away. And also safeties, they're really not a big need when the NFL trade deadline comes around. What positions are? Defensive end and wide receiver. Two of the game-changing positions on both sides of the football. The Browns have no edge rushers to offer up and definitely no wide receivers. So I think for that reason, if I had to pick one, maybe buyers, maybe they make one trade, bring in someone in, kind of like Deoin Jones already. But I think they probably sit somewhere in the middle. Appreciate the question, though. Let me throw this question your direction, though. Should the Browns be buyers or sellers? If you had to pick one, you can make the argument for be sellers. They don't have a first-round pick next year. Get some more draft capital. This season's not going to result in a Lombardi trophy being hoisted. Yeah, okay. I don't think that's a very good message to your locker room, though, and that's definitely something that people lose sight of. As for buyers, you want to forfeit more picks, right? For a team that doesn't look like they're on a track to be playoff contenders, I think they should just stay put. Soul Train, you're next on the show. Why are the defensive ends so wide when the defensive tackles are terrible? I, before the season, said Andrew Berry is gambling on opposing teams to run the football with Myles Garrett and Jadeveon Clowney on this defensive line. And teams that said, bet we will. And it hasn't helped that those two guys have been injured the last few weeks. But why are they moved out so wide? Clearly Joe Woods doesn't trust any sort of interior pass rush, right? There's no way Taven Bryan and Jordan Elliott are making a good push for the quarterback. So he's got to kick his ends out a little wider to get some leverage to get around and find the quarterback. That's the best answer I can give you. What is the cost of that? The Browns' run game on defense. That is the price you pay. JD Shirk with a $20 super chat. What's more to blame, coaches or players' execution? Seems like a lot of fundamental football issues. Shot Blaster, we had some fun in our watch party here. Our live show here. But to answer JD's question, everyone's just going to answer this with a combination of the both. At the end of the day, it is a combination, but I think I'm starting to lean more towards on players' execution. I used to be much more in the camp of it's all Joe Woods' fault. Hey, put any defensive coordinator you want on that sideline or up in that press box. What defensive coordinator is making Taven Bryan and Jordan Elliott NFL starting defensive tackles? Jacob Phillips, an actual green dot linebacker. At the end of the day, let's call it what it is. Andrew Berry, and us included, over-evaluated a handful of guys at key spots. Taven Bryan, Jordan Elliott, free agent, and a third-round pick that just haven't looked like starting defensive tackles. Jacob Phillips, third-round pick, has been a disaster, filling in for Anthony Walker. John Johnson, free agent signing, Grant Delpit, second-round pick, have not done well in the secondary. At all three levels, there is a talent deficiency on this team. Are the coaches making it any better? No, they are definitely on the hook. But if you want to go out and fire Joe Woods, which I'm not opposed to doing, I don't think you should expect for an absolute big turnaround to happen the following Sunday. Will it be better? Maybe. But is it going to be bad still? Yeah. Why? Because maybe the players just aren't as good as we thought they were. That's the hard truth right there. Maybe these guys like Grant Delpit and Jacob Phillips are just not built up to where we thought they would be. All right, we're going to get to more questions in just a moment, but we've got a Browns-Ravens watch party this Sunday. We have watch parties every single week, so if you haven't joined us already, if you haven't yet, give it a shot. I guarantee you're going to have a good time, or your free money back, because it's free here at the Cleveland Browns Report. Listen, we always have a good time during timeouts and commercial breaks. Even when things aren't going well on the field, we keep it entertaining. We keep it live here at the channel. So join us this Sunday, Browns-Ravens watch party right here on the channel. Just click on that thumbnail when you see it on YouTube. Young Sky, what's up? Should we bring back Takk McKinley? My new mantra is just, should we do blank on defense? Yes, because the current makeup is not getting the job done. I am all for ideas. I am leading a town hall meeting. Raise your ideas up, because there's no bad idea right now, because this defense is one of the worst in the NFL. So if you want to bring back Takk McKinley, who had a ruptured Achilles late last season, unfortunately, which was a big dark cloud over a pretty decent season for a backup edge rusher, 2.5 sacks, 1 forced fumble, not going to have to twist my arm around it. I know Andrew Berry would like to see some of these reps go to Alex Wright and see that development really start to hit a streamline. But this team doesn't have time to wait for that. If they want to be competitive right now, they've got to get a move on. So McKinley, who was released earlier this week against from the Rams, I think it's worth a phone call. That's where I'll put it right now. We got more questions to answer from you guys. First, we got to tell everyone watching about BetUS. So our sportsbook partner, BetUS, is a great deal for you guys. Go to chatsports.com/bet. Promo code Browns125. Get a 125% deposit bonus. Now, what do you want to gamble on? I'm not going to advertise betting on the Browns here. So I literally, because I was a cold streak last week. I think I went 1 for 4 my parlay. I'm going to turn my mic off. Producer Patrick Seatman, what should people bet on this week?
Browns fans, you want to make some money this weekend? First, head over to chatsports.com/bet. Use promo code Browns125. The Steelers. The Steelers.
What?
I'm telling you, I'm all in on the Steelers. I'm taking their money line this week. I think the Steelers, I think they're going to beat the Dolphins. I know Browns fans. I know I'm probably in enemy territory right now.
You came on our channel? I thought you were going to go Dolphins 100%, dude.
Oh, no, I'm going 100% Steelers.
Honestly, I bet on the Bucs last week against the Steelers. So I don't have much ground to stand on right now when it comes to betting against the Steelers.
Versus that Miami Dolphins offense.
All right. Fade Patrick over at chatsports.com/bet. Promo code Browns125. Tomlin's a tough guy to bet against. I'll put it that way here. All right, we got more questions to answer on today's show. Joshua Miller, you're next up. The upcoming bye week needs to be like a mini training camp. The weekly breakdowns are preseason stuff, not midseason stuff. Use that time to clean things up. The fact that the Browns in October had to have practices dedicated to fundamentals like tackling should have big alarm bells and whistles going off. You do that stuff in the summer, not in the middle of the season. That is very concerning. No doubt about it. I don't think a mid-season bye is going to rectify that problem. They absolutely have to use this bye as more than just get our bodies right. Take a week off. Reconvene next week. No. This bye has to be double duty for the coaching staff, which it always is, but especially the players. And after John Johnson's comments earlier about some guys maybe not being 100% in on the commitment level, I'm worried this bye is going to be viewed as a siesta for some of the younger guys on this team. Brown Tiger, MVP legend. Do you think players don't like Woods' play calling? I think what happens is when things aren't going to plan, fingers got to start being pointed. And that is when you see coaches lose locker rooms. And for players who think that they are a gift from God to the gridiron, they want to go to the coaches, right? And so Woods is not very good. I'm not defending him, but what I'll say is Woods could get fired tomorrow. I don't think that's going to cure this defense. I think the problems are much more deeply rooted than that. And I've come to learn that over the last few weeks, really since the Falcons game, where they got ran over by the Chargers and they got beat up by Bailey Zappi and the Patriots. Woods is not off the hook, but the problems are bigger than just one person. The Browns not like Joe Woods. Most guys love their coaches. I mean, we had some comments come through of like, nope, we're not giving up on Woods. I don't really know what happens inside the locker room. I don't, you don't, only the players do. Great Hunt, what an interesting name. Next up on the show, any way too early draft targets to watch for this Saturday. So without a first round pick, the Browns are going to pick, let's say, middle of the pack come day 2. That's where the trajectory they're going to right now is. What position do I want them to do? Probably like last year. Interior defensive line. So 5 collegiate players to watch for on Saturdays as we get closer to the end of college football season. Jalen Carter is not going to be there in round 2. I hate to get your hopes up. But if he does fall there, you better lap that shit up. Brian Brees out of Clemson, he was one of the top prospects when he came out of high school, I remember correctly. So that would be a great get in round 2. Don't think he's going to be there. The guy I'm watching for is Sakia Ika. I hope I pronounced that correctly. From Baylor. He is a 350-pound nose tackle that does more than just stop the run, which the Browns need. They need a big body in the middle of that defensive line to just eat up a center and a guard and let their linebackers do their job and get into the backfield or tackle running backs. I like IKEA right now. So this Saturday, whenever you're watching college football, you have the Baylor game on, just think for a second. Let's watch that big guy in the middle of the defense. He could be in Cleveland next year. By the way, Graven Dexter, another player to watch for. I think everyone's probably thinking, is that the dude with a huge fat ass? No, that's not him. But he's still really good. Soul Train next up on the show. Ravens hurting at wide receiver gives me hope this Sunday. We're recording this right now during our live show Thursday at 4 o'clock Eastern, which has Bateman and Duvernay on the injury report. We'll have to wait and see what their statuses are. With or without them, the Ravens have always had success winning games despite not having big wide receiver names. So I don't think this is a nail breaker, but it's definitely going to be something that benefits the Cleveland Browns. All right, final question. This one for you guys. Predict the score. Ravens, Browns. Let me know who you got and by how much in this game down in the comment section below. I want to go with the Browns. My brain is telling me Harbaugh's going to have his guys ready, but I don't give a damn. Lee Corso this bitch. Give me the Browns 29-25. No, there's no way they're going to score that much points. Actually, I don't care. 29-25 from M&T Bank Stadium.